Hello, hello, everyone. This is Catherine Koploff, and I'm so happy to be here virtually with you today. And I'm looking forward to an amazing experience together. When I was preparing for this summit, and congratulations to all of you who made it here. It's the second year. We are happy to deliver this amazing experience to all of you guys. And I will be happy to talk to each and one of you in person after the summit is over. This is a little bonus for all of you who are attending this summit. I want to hear from you. I want to have interactive conversations with you. I want to have strategic coaching sessions with you if you wish. So this is my first promise to you, and I wanted to make it a meaningful experience for you. So today we will be talking about change and how we overcome that resistance to change. How do we facilitate that change in our lives, and how do we help others to do that? So why is this so important? I'm sure you do have your own answers. I'm sure you've been thinking about it a lot. I'm sure you have had people who are trying to overcome the resistance to change. I'm sure you had those challenging clients who've been wanting to change, but for some reason they were not able to, and those colleagues who are very negative and who take it into huge consideration with every little detail and with every new thing that is exposed to them. Let me tell you a little bit about myself. I have been learning on my journey as a coach, as a person who is very interested in personal development. I've started my personal development journey about 15 years ago, and I still continue on it. I've been interested in positive psychology. I graduated from the university with a psychology degree, and coaching became a wonderful and crazy powerful tool that helped me to facilitate the change in my life and in the life of other people. I consider myself as a leader. The philosophy that I believe in is leadership without the title. It's when you act as a leader. It's when you try to excel in everything you do, and when you try to have fun with it and be positive. So those are my core values, and I'm sure we do share these core values with most of you. So when I come to, and I do work in an organization, I lead the sales team at one of the hotels in Toronto, and this leadership role is it's always an opportunity for me to use my coaching skills with my colleagues and to see how coaching works in the real life. I also work with clients who are the managers, the top managers and the executives in the organization, and I help them to make that transition happen. And I help them to facilitate that change in their teams. And nobody say that it's an easy process, but change is tough. Change is tough, let's face it. And why do we always resist the change? Well, because we are scared. Most of the time we're scared. We don't know what to expect, and the management styles that we have right now in organizations are not really helping us to change, because what do? We impose the change on people, right? And if anyone is telling you what to do, what is your first reaction? I don't want to do that. We go back to our childhood or remember how our parents were forcing us to do something, and that resistance comes out really fast. So I was thinking about, I like to have fun. I like to have, I like to be in a happy workplace. I want to have that positive environment, and it's not easy sometimes because people live different lives, and they some of them are negative, some of them are critical, they're criticizing themselves, they're criticizing others. So it's not that easy to facilitate that, to make that difference, to facilitate that change, to make that environment positive when you're the only person who is trying. So, and when I was first starting to work in those environments, so starting to work with those clients, I would always be thinking about, there is a disconnect. I'm reading about these positive environments, positive change that is possible in the books. I see it happening in my life. I see it happening with my clients, but something is wrong here in this organization. Maybe maybe the organizational structure is not positive one. It's not the one that supports positivity. But then I give it a time, and I see that all that messiness, all that negativity starts to vanish, and I see the progress. I see the people, how they're slowly changing, how they're slowly creating that positive change in their lives, and how the teams are becoming more positive, and how change is becoming more of an enjoyment rather than a pain. So today I want to share this experience and some tools that can help you to facilitate that change in your life and in your organization. What do we start with? So I want to start with my story when I created that big dream for myself that I want to study in the university, in the best university in Canada. And to make the story short, I've graduated from one of the top universities in Canada. Although for many of you, graduating would be something not such a big of an achievement. For me, it was, because I was a newcomer to Canada. I could hardly speak English. I have failed my first year at the university, but I continued on this journey, and I have chosen psychology. I have chosen to study psychology, and it was one of the best decisions that I have ever made. I was interested in psychology before, but I got that opportunity. And the reason I'm telling you this story, because out of all the courses that I have learned, I've took about 20 courses in psychology, and one of them, only one, was in positive psychology. What is a positive psychology? It's about making people better using their strengths. It's about facilitating that positive change in people's lives. It's about focusing on what is working and not focusing on the weaknesses that people have. There is more to the positive psychology, but one important rule that I do want to share with you today is the 50-40-10 rule that you've probably heard about, and if you haven't, it's simple. 50% is what we inherit, what is our genetics responsible for. So it's the reason why I'm talking about this rule is because when it comes to change, we need to understand whether it's even possible to change. And we're talking about big change. We're talking about our dreams to be achieved. I'm the person who is coming from a very humble family. I wasn't born rich. I understood when I was 21 that I can make a difference. I can live the life I want to if I will be able to change. So my question was when I entered the university, whether I would be able to change, or maybe because I didn't have those opportunities, I will never be successful, happy. And that was my question. Would I be able to do that? Would I be able to achieve anything I have dreamed about when I was a child and when I was growing up? So this rule gave an answer to me, the 50-40-10. So 50% of our genetics is something that is that we have the predisposition to. So we are born, maybe some of us are optimists more than pessimists. I was a person who I would consider to be more pessimist. So my genetic predisposition was towards having, a little bit lower self-esteem, a little bit less hope in the future, a little bit dwelling on the past, on the negative past, being a little bit more complaining about things than other people, until I understood that it is changeable. So another 40% is something that we call the influence of our own. So we can influence things in our life. We can make the difference. We can change our IQs, we can change our EQs, our emotional intelligence, we can change our thoughts, we can change our behavior, we can change anything. And most of you have heard about your mindset, the way you think will help you to change anything in your life. And it was so fascinating. And then another 10% was your environment, how it influences you. So if, let's say you are predisposed to being a negative person, maybe you're a little bit less optimistic, you're more of a pessimist by nature, and you're placed in a good environment which is a 10%, you are surrounded by good people. Or like me, lucky enough, I met a wonderful person in my life, my husband. He was born an optimist, so just being surrounded by this person have changed me. And another 40% is my willingness to do that. It's the books, it's the hope and belief, it's the knowledge that it's possible that helped me to understand that, yes, I can change. And that change will help me to achieve whatever I want. So that was a very insightful moment for me. So when my friend asked me when I graduated, so now you're graduated, what? This was my answer. I can do anything I want to. It's just gonna take some time and effort. So that belief helped me to overcome many challenges, because we all think that, in the future life is going to be great. Now let's suffer. No. And we're going to have those moments, and we all do. It's just the matter of understanding how soon you can overcome those challenges, how resilient you are, and then connecting to your core, connecting to your best versions of yourself, using your strengths, relying on your values. That's what helps us to move forward. And we look for that motivation to sometimes in the challenging moments, and we help others to to find that energy, to find that motivation to achieve things and to make that difference and to overcome that resistance. So one of the answers is understanding that we can change anything. We can change ourselves in a long run if we start now. And the inside of the small steps that we need to take to make that difference is so powerful to understand. But on the next level is to actually be able to believe that this small step that I'm going to take tomorrow is going to change my life in 1 year. So, having said that, I want to narrow this topic down to something that is very, very important, and it is the coaching session that we facilitate with our clients, with people whom we interact. And I truly believe that change happens in those powerful conversations that we have with our colleagues, with our family members, and perhaps with ourselves. So, what makes this conversation so powerful? Why are we all talking about coaching so much? The whole world is talking about coaching, and why is it so big and huge, and why we still need some clarification on what coaching is and what is happening inside those conversations. Some of you are familiar with coaching skills, some of you are not. Some of you have had a great experience with a coach, some of you haven't. So today it's a wonderful opportunity to have it. And later on, we're going to facilitate this powerful coaching sessions among all of you. But to prepare you for those coaching sessions, I outlined the key things, key components that will change the way you interact with other people, and that will help you to have those meaningful, powerful conversations. I do teach coaching skills, and it's a powerful experience because I see how people are changing by just applying those skills in their everyday life, as well as in becoming coaches and having those conversations with their clients. So I know if for some of you, you might have some resistance at the beginning because it's something new, it's a change, right? But I would like to invite you to accept this new change, to allow yourself to think a little bit differently, to go a little bit outside your comfort zone and allow this new information, allow these new skills to be applied in your life. Because I know what might be going in your head, that, okay, this might work in Canada or in other parts of the world. It might not work with my life. It might not work in my organization or in my particular situation. Think again and try to see how it might benefit you, because I understand and the reason why I'm saying that, because every time, although I have the good knowledge and understanding of the of the coaching, I do have the coaching skills and I do apply them often. Sometimes when I'm in a new situation with a new employees or in a new company, I act automatically, and our automatic responses, as you know, are very strong ones. So, and sometimes coaching is not there for me as a first reaction. But slowly, when I understand and when I have a better understanding of the situation, I'm able to apply it, to apply coaching skills, and I see a huge difference. So I invite you to be open for this change to happen in your life, maybe not right now, but later on. And that's how coaching works. We might not see the difference simultaneously, but we do see a huge difference in the process along the way. So give it a time, give it a try, and share your results with me and with our team, because this is exciting to hear all these wonderful, successful stories of all the people who are already applying the coaching skills in their life, in their career, anywhere. So let's start. So what goes into the coaching session? Coaching session is a conversation between two people, and I can talk a lot about it, but I want to make it nice and short, and that's why I have selected a few components that are critical to our regular day-to-day conversations with friends or colleagues or our subordinates or our managers. So we will be talking today about the leaders. And by leaders, I already said, I mean any person who is on a journey to make the difference in their own life and in the life of others. And it's the best time in humanity to make that happen. And I'm sure we are all here for the same reason, to make this world a better place and to help others to live more happier and more fulfilling life. So, and as I said, the change happens during these small conversations that we have with other people, because what needs to change is something in our brain that will affect the change later on. So what is it, something that needs to change? So basically it's our way of thinking. And when I say about automatic thinking, it's when we react to things negatively all the time or positively all the time. It's something when we realize that our reactions are not working for us. So the first what we do is we bring awareness. So we know something is wrong, but how can we change? And how can we help another person to change? So most of the conversations that we have are focused on giving solutions to other people, giving advice, because if we work in the company, in an organization, and if we talk with other people, we are expected to give these solutions. We are expected to be, to look good, to sound smart, to judge, to assess the information that is given to us. We are being asked to provide the answers, so no blame for that. However, the change doesn't happen if we give the solution to other person. The change happens only if the person finds the solution for themselves. But when you're in a position of helping the person to facilitate that change, to find that insight for themselves, to help them think through, because the reason they are asking you is because they're stuck into the mental image, they're stuck in their thought process. They cannot overcome it. So the way we do that is we help the other person to think it through, to find their own solutions. And you all know how cool it feels when you find an answer to a dilemma, to an issue, and how much power you gain when you find that solution. So now be talking about the ways how we can help other person to find the solution, but you can always apply it to yourself, because this is the most powerful tool that you can ever use, and I use it all the time, is having that wonderful conversation with yourself where you can, you know, ask some powerful questions and find those answers and help yourself to come up to those solutions. So the questions that we're talking about, and this is one of the competencies of the professional coaches, are the open-ended questions. So the questions that start with what rather than why. Why have you done this? Why did this happen? And the questions with what, that are focused on solution, that are focused on finding the answers, that are so powerful. I work with people who've been looking for the problems, who've been dwelling on the problems a lot, so their brain works the way that they always have to ask for the solution if they cannot come up with one. They have to go and get that answer rather than searching in yourself. So one of the best ways to think about it is when you have a conversation, and when the person comes to you for an answer, it depends. If you're in a manager role, then it's sometimes really hard because you think your self-esteem is threatened. If you will not give an answer, they might not think you're an expert. They might think you don't have that knowledge. And it's okay to start with those answers. And if you've been doing that, the first step would be a good step to give the answer, but not to be so attached to it as one and only answer to that question, but to finish it with a question. So what do you think about it? What are your thoughts about it? And then slowly you will be able to move from giving solutions at all to asking person a question and help them think through that and brainstorm those ideas and options and help them select the best one, and acknowledge them for making that decision. Because when we make a decision, when we're confident, we have the energy to move forward and to go into action. And then that's the question about motivating employees, motivating a person, finding that deeper motivation to move forward, to change something in their lives so they can be happy at the end and fulfilled. So questioning, so also when we are asking the questions, we are looking for potential. We're listening for thoughts the person has about this particular issue, and we are helping them to find the solution. The way we treat the other person is the best way you can ever treat anyone. You trust the person that they have all the tools and resources to find that solution. So you don't judge the person. So you do not criticize the person. You do not look at the person as he's a subordinate or the person who doesn't know, even if you know the solution or the answer. You treat a person as a genius. You treat a person as the person who knows how to achieve the success for himself. That attitude changes everything. And that means that you also treat yourself the same way. You also know that you're good enough, he's good enough. You're a superstar and he's a superstar. You are the leader and he's the leader. So we're talking about equality. And maybe it sounds a little bit awkward from the beginning, but that attitude changes everything. So once you trust the person more, once you have the courage and trust in him finding those solutions and those answers, the person is taking initiative and the person is ready to move forward and accomplish what he wants to accomplish. And Interestingly enough, the person relaxes, he trusts the process, he comes up with the solution. And think about the moments when you were able to find that solution on your own. You have lots of energy and confidence to move forward, and that's how the change happens. So we ask those powerful questions, and those are the open-ended questions. Those are the questions that help to, to open up that strength. Maybe they're digging deeper into the positive experience that the person had before. So he's coming to you and asking about the question that they have, and they don't know how to maybe price a certain product, or how to deal with this negative person, or how to be more productive if they don't have time. And that's when you're having this conversation by asking him of what have worked for you in the past, or what strategies do you think would work for you right now. Let's get into more details of what's on your way, and let's brainstorm on some solutions for yourself. What do you think? What would be your best guess? And there are tons and tons of questions that could be asked, but the main idea is for you not having that expert hat, but for the person to gaining that power that he knows the answers. And you will be surprised how creative the people become when finding those solutions. The other important point is how do we listen to the person? Because in the coaching conversations, people talk 80% of the time, and that's our goal, and we talk for 20% of all the time. So what do? We listen. We say that out, and we listen. And try it with your family, try it with your friends, just asking questions and just listening to what the other person is saying. And what are we listening for? Because we could listen and we can jump into the conclusion. We can listen for, we can listen and judge the person, or we can listen and try to interrupt with our answers. Or what is it that we are really listening for actively? It's the active listening skills that we have in coaching. So what are we listening for? We're listening for the potential. We're listening for the opportunities. We're brainstorming for the solutions. So all of those good things that help the person to come down if they have an anxiety, to bring them that courage back. It's basically two sides of the coin. If you feel that the person is stressful, we need to calm him down, and we're listening for whatever will make him feel comfortable. So once the person achieves that state of trust with you, which is a great competency of the coach or of any person, then he can trust you, then he can think through the situation, and he trusts you only because you listen to him, but you also hear of what is he saying. So powerful questions and active listening. The last thing that will make the coaching conversation a powerful one, and which will be different from any other talk, is after talking, after coming up with these solutions, what are we going to do? So the third step is to take action. So we help our clients, we help any conversation, any coaching conversation should end with some next steps. Because if we're just talking about something and we found that great answer, or we found that solution, or we found how we're going to achieve that goal, it's all could stop at just the stage of a talking. So how do we move it forward? We ask for the next steps. And it could be something small. Important thing is to ask about the learning that happened today. So if the person came up with a great idea, and or if it was a challenging situation that he overcame, what was his learning? What was so powerful for him, and how can he use this experience to move even further, and what would be his next step? So what is he going to do with it, and how he's going to use this new learning, new insights, and new solutions to help him in the future. So this is another very important step in the coaching process. So to sum it up for you, when you're having a coaching conversation, and to make it very, very simple, this would be a very cool exercise to do, is to start a conversation with an issue. So there will be a client who will have an issue, or have a question, or have something that is bugging him at the moment, and it will be a coach who will be helping the client to find that solution. So the role of the coach and the intention and task of the coach will be to ask the questions, have that non-judgmental listening of the client, helping him to find the solution through the questions only, staying away from advices, because we remember that the client knows the best. The client has all the answers, and the best coach is the one who can help the client to find those answers. Because when you have that important decision to make, and when you come to the manager, when you come to the person whom you trust, and you cannot make that important decision, you are asking for their advice. But at the end of the day, you collect all those advices and you sit quietly, and you still haven't made that decision because something inside of you haven't came up to give you that answer. So during the coaching conversation, you connect to that deeper inside of you, and you help to reveal that very important answer that is sitting there, that is true to your core values, true to your best self, that is the best answer that will make you happy, and that it doesn't matter whether you will make mistake or not. It will be your decision. And to come up with that answer, to come up with that strategy, you need to go deeper and find those answers. And coach is the person who normally helps you to do that, because unfortunately Google doesn't give those answers. So I invite you to start that exercise in the group of 3 people. So one will be a coach, one will be a client, and a third person will be an observer. He will be observing the skills that will be appearing during this conversation. He will be looking at acknowledging you for something that you have done, for your powerful listening skills, for your powerful coaching skills, and other skills that you will be demonstrating during this conversation. So I want you to have fun with it. I want to hear back from you, and I hope you're going to have a very powerful discussion experience, and I wish you all the very best, and I cannot wait to hear and connect with all of you guys. Bye.